All right, welcome back to the Central Valley Buzz, everybody. I'm your host, Chuck Leonard. TK, let's bring in our second guest of the day, Mr. Michael Bogart. Hello, sir.
Chuck.
How's it going? How are you?
Great.
Mr. Bogart from 21st Century Faith and MindCuisine.com, just returning from a trip to Mexico.
That's
you
right.
went to Mexico for spring break? I'm jealous.
Actually, it was not a recreational trip. I
Oh.
was teaching a whole bunch of cross-cultural, leaders cross-culturally. There was a group, mixed group of Americans and Mexicans that I was teaching together.
And what were you teaching them?
Well, I was teaching on Christian leadership principles because the church in Mexico, at least some segments of the church, is growing quite rapidly.
It's not just Catholic anymore.
No, in fact, I checked the statistics, and I'd say about 80% of Mexicans would claim to be Catholic at this point. And the rest is growing in terms of Protestants and evangelicals and other groups like that.
Why is that?
Well, I think for one thing, obviously, the media plays a role in Mexico just like it does here, and so therefore people see other options. There's been, of course, a lot of disillusionment with Roman Catholicism, just as in the United States and other places in Mexico as well. And I don't know if you know the history of Mexico, but there's
some of it.
love-hate relationship between the Mexican government and the Roman Catholic Church. It goes back to the revolution of the early 1900s. So anyway, all of that's
How are they getting
contributing.
along now?
Well, I think they're doing just fine in that sense, and I think this idea of Pope Francis being from Latin America has been a big push to try to repair.
He's
some of
cool.
that image.
I like him.
Most people think Francis is okay, so we'll see what happens. We don't know yet.
He's the people's pope.
He really is, and he's the Latin American Pope, which is important for Mexico and other countries like that. So I was in Mexico teaching for the week last week. And
do you speak Spanish?
I speak enough to have a conversation. I don't speak well enough to teach in Spanish, so I have to have an interpreter. But it's kind of fun to do.
What part of Mexico were you in, Mike?
I was in the state of Nuevo León, which is near Monterrey, the fourth largest city. And so we were there, got to go to Texas, got some relatives in Texas, so I got to see them, and my wife went. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so you're down there and you're talking to people about your books? Your DVDs?
Yeah, and in fact, I was going to talk about this.
Oh, you just happen to have one right there, do you?
I just happened to have one right here. My latest book called The 45-Minute Bible, which is in English, of course. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work together with a contact of mine to translate this into Spanish, because this is going to be, I think, in great demand in Mexico.
Why do you think so?
Well, because there's such a growing interest in personally reading the Bible in Mexico. It's not been something that's been part of that culture before, but now many people want to get into the Bible for themselves. And of course they've got their sort of like equivalent to our King James, the old-fashioned Spanish called the Reina Valera version. But they've also got some more modern language Spanish versions, which make it much easier for people to access. And so anyway, we're going to be working on the Spanish version of this. And
how are people warming up to it when you're talking about it?
most people think that this is a great resource simply because it's so brief.
Because it doesn't take a year to read.
That's right. It gives an overview, it kind of hits the high points, and it's written from a fairly neutral perspective. I mean, I'm a Baptist, but I don't write it from a Baptist perspective. A Catholic or even a non-religious person could pick this up and find it very helpful, I think. So anyway, I'm very excited about the Spanish version project of it.
Were people in Mexico, are they curious about other religions, like your other books, the Understanding Islam, Understanding the Mormons?
Yes, absolutely they are. Not as much Islam because they don't have exposure to Islam as much as we do in Mexico, but the Mormons are there, the Jehovah's Witnesses are there. They've got their own homegrown sect called La Luz del Mundo is what it's called.
And that translates into recruiting center.
That's right.
Yes.
But I teach on all those things in Mexico, and there are lots of interest down there.
Awesome.
So.
Hey, tell people how they can get your DVDs and your books.
Mind Cuisine, like brain food, mindcuisine.com. And then you just go to the products tab and everything is there. And I was going to offer a special for somebody who emails me at mike@aspectministries.com. The first person that emails me, I will send a free copy of the 45-Minute Bible in English.
Awesome. Okay. This is Mike Bogart. He teaches modern religion out at West Hills College. He's here with me every Wednesday. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.